Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. And what you're looking at is an older Honda Recon. This thing has kind of a storied past. It's actually famous. It was a television show prop, and take a look. That's the story behind it. So here's how this all-terrain vehicle became famous. That's Asa, and he's driving it. This is his older brother, and they were in this death match, let's call it. They were swinging clubs at each other. So his brother swung the club at him, but Asa took his club and put it in the spokes of the tire here, and his brother flips over. So anyway, that's why this thing is famous. Now, I found this thing, actually I didn't find it. I used to watch quad racers quite a bit, and they found this and a bunch of its buddies out in a junkyard near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They were all in a motorcycle ATV salvage yard. Now, when they gave up the TV show, Outsiders, WGN America, stopped producing that TV show, they just junked everything. Which, by the way, is, from a tax point of view, is kind of what you have to do. If you buy a bunch of stuff and take it off your taxes as an expense, right? Unless you're going to sell everything and then put it back on your taxes as a profit, you have to junk it, and that's what they did with these. Anyway, quad racers, the young man in that bought one of these, and after watching his video and seeing there were still several sitting there, I ran all the way out to Pennsylvania to get it. Now back then I paid $900 for this thing, which was really too much money for a Recon. It should have, especially in this theoretical condition. At the time it didn't run. It had a problem such that when you shifted to transmission, it clanged really hard. The adjuster on the shifter clutch was all messed up, so I had to replace that. The battery was dead, and the carburetor was no good. And it had been sitting around, right? Oh, and it also needed a recoil starter. So to spend $900 for this thing, I was really going out on a limb, but I figured I would go with it. I had a choice between this, and there were another few there, but not all of them had the seats on, and some of them you could actually see the air cleaner filled with water went through the carb into the engine, and they were just done. Anybody who just quickly, Recon is shaft drive. You can see the engine is turned sideways. It's recoil starter as well as electric starter. They're kind of a utility all-terrain vehicle. They're a little heavy to be sporty. This one here, you could see it should have had the smaller rim size on the front of it, the 110s, and they put the adapter to bring it up to the 140s. All the stuff on here they did, and you know, the metal on the back, the sheet metal in the front. I really don't run it for too long because the sheet metal in the front makes it run a bit hot. Now I put the battery, I think you guys could see that flashing. Anyway, so I put that on there, hoping to peak the battery up. This thing hasn't been out in quite a while. I don't want to start it with that on there charging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the key, and we're going to attempt a cold start. Unfortunately, they kind of have the gas situation there butchered up, and it's permanently on, which means this has had gas to it permanently, so to speak. I did drain. This is out of the bowl of the carburetor. You can see a little debris in there, but generally speaking, it doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to try to give it a start. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we are. Throttle is on. It's working. There you go. You can see the key comes on. I'm going to set this up in the stand, and hopefully it starts right on up. Okay, I think you guys could see everything. I haven't started this up this year. I've owned it for 2 years, so I haven't put a battery. The battery's a couple of years old. The carburetor work is a couple of years old. I really haven't ridden it much, so let's hope she fires up. Got a whole lot of nothing there. That's in the right place. Whole lot of nothing there. Let's give it a little hoot of starting fluid. Just a hoot will do ya. Interesting. Try a little choke this time. It's acting like it's not getting gas. So I might end up having to go through this carburetor one more time. Yeah, she's acting like she's not getting gas. The carburetor's probably jammed up. You guys want to do a quick carb rebuild? So I opened up the gas drain again, and I got like nothing out of it. And then I wouldn't put my mouth up against the gas tank, but if you blow into the hose, I'm out of gas. Talk about a rookie mistake. So it's amazing what putting a little gas in the thing will do. I'm going to strap on the GoPro, let this thing warm up for a minute, and we'll take it for a ride. So it took me a couple of seconds to get things sorted because, quite honestly, bees. So hopefully, if you see me go off the back, it's because the bees came out from underneath there and chased me off of it. By the way, the nice thing about the Recon is it's made here in the United States. I mean, obviously it's a Honda, but it's made here. So a lot of the parts are very available. Like the recoil starter was like less than 30 bucks for the whole starter. The dogs, the rope, the whole shoot match, right? So I mean, that's a real plus. I think even the seat is pretty reasonable. The seat I have on here now is the one that came with it, the one that was in the TV show. Honestly, I've been thinking about kind of taking it off of here and putting it aside and getting a better seat for it. Yeah, now I'm all paranoid about bees, so. Yeah, she hasn't been out in quite a while. I think this is the first time this year. Hopefully the bees get the message to go somewhere else. Yeah, she's running pretty good. Try not to get smacked in the face. We haven't had much rain here. Though the last couple of days there's been a few thunderstorms. So we're getting, things are greening up again. This has oversized tires on it, so it does sit a little tall in the saddle. It's good that I come out and go around it, just in case anybody's back here. Bob with his internet extender, I'll find him. Running good, which is actually amazing. I did not put the original carburetor back on this thing. I don't like that fuel pump affair this carburetor has, or had, the OEM. So I don't like that, and quite honestly, I really don't care much for a cable choke. I'd rather have the manual choke lever. So I put a standard carburetor on it. As a matter of fact, I just looked at it. It's a PZ27. So I had something just hit my foot. So you guys can see she runs fine on the PZ27. It has a plastic gas tank, and the gas tank wasn't empty. There was still fuel in the tank, but the problem is because of the way the fuel valve is, it only lets you run down to reserve, and then it says it's out of gas, but you still got a good third of a tank. You just can't reach it because once again it's in reserve instead of, you know, regular, or it's in regular, not reserve, and once again I can't get it to flip over to reserve. So I'd have to pull the gas tank off to fix that, get the valve out of there, get it drained. So I got $900 in this thing, plus a battery, plus a carburetor, plus that adjuster. What else did I put in this thing? Oh, and a recoil starter. So I probably have, I don't know, 1,050, maybe 1,100. And when I bought this thing, I mentioned it before, that would have been too much money for it. Now, considering its condition and its pedigree and so forth, I could probably put it on eBay and get all my money back. This is, out of my entire fleet, this is the only all-terrain vehicle that my channel actually owns. When I bought it, I got a bill of sale from that junkyard. And when I showed it to my accountant, he said, well, we could devalue it over a few years, so it's a tax deduction. But then he warned me that I was going to have trouble on the other end when I shut down my channel. If I ever shut down my channel. This is considered an asset of hoarding mayhem, and they would want to know what became of it. So they'd want to know that it went to the junkyard like it did originally, or it was sold and I put the profit back into the channel. Now, I don't push this thing that hard. I did a video on it back when I put that adjuster in it, and there's a chain that kind of runs to a set of counterweights, and that chain was not fall off loose, but it wasn't what I would consider tight either. So I'd rather not have that winging about, especially to throttle it up and throttle it down, and to keep doing that, rocking it, so to speak, because I really rather not throw that. Eventually I got to get back in this motor and change that chain out. Bird got it. I have a hawk. I think you guys hear it sometimes, flying around screaming its head off. That's what it does. And every once in a while it'll get a bird in flight, and it brings it down and enjoys it for lunch, or maybe it finds a bird on the ground, whatever. But it definitely recycles it. And there was a pile of feathers in the trail, so I think that's a bird that's no longer with us. We might get some thunderstorms today. Actually, it's not a bad day to be outside working. Not too hot, a little humid, but not too hot. If you're not right in the direct sunshine, it's really not bad. So you guys can see I have cut the trail recently, though the thorn bushes are extracting their a little bit from me. I got to get in here with the long-bladed shears and take care of some of this. I don't know, were you guys in the mood for a nice long ride and talk? Yeah, I like to hit all the trails once in a while just to see what's going on. Make sure I don't... Oh, there's a turtle. Balding turtle. That's cool. That's part of the reason why the guy can't develop this land I'm riding on. He's got balding turtles that were considered endangered species. I really shouldn't say it out loud, but I was told that the first people who did something with this property brought a whole load of turtles down from the Adirondack area, who might have established themselves here. So the endangered species might have been, or some of them might have been moved here. I guess the difference between the balding turtles and a standard box turtle or an old world box turtle is they're known as the hinge. This thing has reverse. Yeah, look at that. It's a good day after all. Yeah, I'm glad to get this out. Put a little fuel through that carburetor. The gasoline I put in this has stabilizer and a little bit of sea foam. So it's kind of my own little chemical mix. it has a tendency to keep the carburetors a little bit cleaner. I want to make sure I don't run over that turtle. That would be really poor form on my part. Yeah, as I recall, he was up here from Calvin's Corners. We'll just stay off of that for now. Now, this thing here, I mean, obviously it's running nice and all. From a field point of view, or from I want to buy one of these point of view, it's definitely more utility than sport. I mean, you'll go out there and you'll play with your buddies, but it's heavy. So if you get it stuck somewhere, you're going to find out what it's like to lift a 500-pound all-terrain vehicle. I think this thing probably weighs 500, especially with the extra metal they put on it. I'm sure it weighs all of 500. So hopefully my battery charged up a little bit. And hopefully the bees have decided to move on. Shoot. I'm not going to be able to get around that way. Yeah, I got a million little trails. Actually, I got an obstacle course. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this ride. I really want to thank you for coming along with me. I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Oops, brakes, none. Please remember, keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and get out there and enjoy each and every day. Hopefully my owner's manual or my service manual will show up, and I'll be able to get back to working on the 300EX, whether I convert it to a single CDI all-terrain vehicle, or if I manage to fix the dual CDI on it and get it running on that. Once again, feet down, heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Bye now.